What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and this I'm going to try to make the Hello Neighbor 2 bakery. Now here it is in all of its bakeryness, or I guess baking. Sure, we'll go with that. I'm not going to show the full interior, but I will show a little bit. Also ignore the grass blocks, they are just the corners of the grid, so I can make the grid easier, which you can actually see there on the left. Spoiler alert, I guess. But yeah, here it is, and yeah, with that being said, here's your sneak peek of the front room, and yeah, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alrighty, so the space we need for this is a 43 by 40, and the materials we're needing to start off are bricks, quartz pillars, red terracotta, glass panes, orange concrete, glass blocks, and man, I sure hate decisions. We're gonna go with smooth quartz blocks, smooth quartz slabs, and oh yeah, the doors. That might be smart. Birch door, I guess. Yeah, we could make the front door. Actually, I changed my mind. Get out mangrove planks, not birch door. I apologize if you already got out the birch door. Uh, because we have the glass already, so we might as well just get those doors out of the way. Starting from the front left-hand corner of your 43 by 40 grid call every minute, you want to start by counting backwards by 22. And then count right by 4. And going right, you can place 4 brick blocks. Now, I will start off by saying we are starting from the front, or the front left-hand corner of the like main red section of the bakery for this. Once we get the whole layout, essentially, you can kind of see if you want it to be like this, or if you just want the spacing to work differently. But this is how I am going to start. Okay, we'll just do the rest of it later. Anyway, starting from the furthest right block of that row of 4, you will bring it forward with 6 bricks. Then go right one. Forward diagonally, right one, forward diagonally, right one, forward diagonally, right one, and then you'll go right from there with 2 sideways quartz pillars, then forward diagonally, right with 1. These are facing left to right, by the way. Right with a quartz pillar, right with a brick, back diagonally, right one, back diagonally, right one, back diagonally, right one, and then back by 7. And as a reality check here, you can make sure that you are aligned with the other side there, which you should be. From this brick, you can then go right anyway with 7 more bricks. And then you want to go back by 8. This next block, you can really place whatever you want. Technically, it needs to either be a block of quartz or an orange terracotta. But because we don't have those, I'm going to use the alternative, which is just another sideways quartz pillar to mark the doorway. That could, in theory, stay there if you wanted it to. It doesn't really matter, I guess, that much. And then behind that, you'll place 4 bricks moving back. You'll then go back diagonally, left one, back diagonally, left one. And from this point, you want to connect all the way left and then forward to the first brick we placed. I don't have numbers, but I can give them. It should be 24 across the back, and then 14 moving forward. So that does not include the blocks that are already placed, just so we're clear on that. It would be 25 in total for the back and 16 in total for the left, because we don't have either. We already had both of the corners when we would have started placing that row, so yeah. But anyway, that's the shape of your bakery. Now, if you don't care for the other stuff, then that's all of the space you really need as far as it's concerned, so you can figure that out. If you do want the outer stuff, then just ignore all of what I just said. Let's start with every wall but the front, because I really like putting off the annoying walls. We're going to start with the left side here. And you can take either corner of brick here, and you can extend it up with 10 quartz pillars. just like so. At the very front row, you will place, going from this quartz pillar, I guess going, what is technically left from this angle would be the right one and going left. We're going to use this just to make the walls easier. You want to, on this row, going bottom to top, place red terracotta, 3 glass panes, red terracotta, sideways quartz pillar, and then 4 red terracotta. You will then extend each red terracotta, for the most part. We'll start with the bottom side here. You'll extend each red terracotta to the left by 6. And each glass pane also left with 6 red terracotta. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part, and you should have this now. So, this is the fun part here. You want to essentially bring the quartz pillar row in the middle here all the way across to the back, just connecting like so. Just to the left of the end row of red terracotta, you'll place a vertical row of quartz pillar that will come from the top, or the bottom to the top, and it will just obviously stick over that by 4, so it's the same height as the rest. The intersection point of quartz pillar, you will make a smooth quartz block. This will make a little bit more sense later. It's not really a huge detail, and not all of them actually work like that, but this one in particular does. Like, some of the corner ones do, and some of the corner ones don't. It's weird. What you can do now is fill in, with the exception of this top right red terracotta, or this top right panel here, just fill in, I guess, the 2 left panels in with red terracotta as well. Not too bad. And then we can actually focus on the right panel and figure out what we need to leave open, because there's a window here that we don't have the materials to make. Spoiler alert, it's stairs. So you want to place 1 row of red terracotta off the top, and just 1 additional one on the right here, so you have this. You'll then, I guess, place 2 at the bottom, and then just 3 at the left, so you end up with this 2-block gap right here. It's essentially, it's 1 above the, or out of the middle 2 rows going top to bottom, it's the top row, and it is the center block and 1 to the right that is broken, if that helps at all. I don't know if it makes it more confusing or not, but either way, just, I don't know. This is 3, this is 2, that's 2, that's 1. Anyway, back wall time. Back wall is also really not that bad. Has more windows, though, I will say that much. So, going right to left, which right will be the side we started on from this quartz pillar, you want to go across and you want to place 12 red terracotta, an upward facing quartz pillar, 10 red terracotta, and then an upward facing quartz pillar, which should be on the last brick of the actual flat part of the wall. We do have the little diagonal, but that's a problem for later, I guess. You want to essentially do the same, well, you don't want to quite do the same thing. Each of these quartz pillars are brought up by different amounts, which is always fun. The center one here will be brought up by 12. And the left one will be brought up by 10. These numbers will be kind of fact-checked, quote-unquote, later, which you shouldn't be too which means you shouldn't be too concerned about them right now, but just do keep them in mind. You also do want the vertical row of, or the sideways row of quartz pillar coming through the back here. And we do have a couple smooth quartz. The 2 leftmost intersection points are smooth quartz, aka meaning only the right one is not. As I mentioned, like, you see that edge one is, but, like, some aren't, I don't know. I think that's the last one, though, because I don't think there's any on the front, but I could be wrong? Nah, it does not look like I am, no. So that's exciting. Not really. Now, none of these panels we can fill in. We'll start with the one that, again, we need to, or we don't have the materials for. It's this bottom left one. You will place a row of red terracotta at the bottom, along with 2 off the top to just leave 1 row in the center. You will go, we'll call it left to right, and you will place a red terracotta, leave 2 blocks open, red terracotta, leave 2 open, and then it should be the final 4 are red terracotta. And again, those are the same kind of window. I think that's also the only one left. Nope, there is actually one next to the birch door that we'll end up placing in a little bit. So the top left one, what I guess I would do, just on top of this sideways row of quartz pillar, you can just place a row of red terracotta, so we don't have to worry about that for making these windows. Going left to right on the top left one, you'll place 2 red terracotta and then glass pan, and then the rest can just be red terracotta. We'll come back to that in a second. Top right one, going from this time right to left, you want to place 5 red terracotta, glass pan, and the rest will just be red terracotta again. And then the bottom right, you will go left to right this time, and you will place a glass pan, red terracotta, glass pan, then again the rest of the row will be red terracotta. Each of those 3 rows you placed, you want to copy 2 more times. I love just placing an absurd amount of glass pans that I don't need. It's my favorite pastime. But yeah, of course we ended up getting rid of the birch door, but we are ending up trending that way instead of doing the front first, which is just a classic move by me, I guess. But I wouldn't have expected I do that regardless. So here's the fun part. The top left and bottom right panels you'll place an additional row of red terracotta on top of. You will leave this top right for just now. Once we get the roof situated, then we can add a row there. But for now, we will not. It's time for arguably the most complicated side, but we have a little bit of the back to do still. We have these 2 rows of bricks here. The furthest right row, you'll go just up from this brick and place a red terracotta, 3 glass blocks, and then a red terracotta. And then you'll just have a row of 5 red terracotta to the left of it. On the diagonal, like the next diagonal, which would actually be the right wall this time, you'll place 4 quartz pillars moving up. Only 4, you don't want 5. That's, again, going to be more important later, but it is nice to have. If you so choose, you can get out a birch door and place it on the doorway right now. We still need everything, though, so I guess just, like, I don't know, throw your bricks somewhere and then just grab a birch door and plop it right there. There is another one we will need for this wall, but I'm not really concerned about it just right now because we have to actually finish this side first. So, on the other corner of this wall, you'll also place your 4 quartz pillars moving up. You want to fill in this entire wall with red terracotta to those 4 rows, except for one little exception. If you're looking at the door just to the right of it, which is the way the handle should be facing, by the way, you will leave these first 2 red terracotta open. So basically, only the furthest right one will be placed on that particular row. And then the rest will just be red terracotta like so. Now, for the top half, you have a little bit more to be concerned about here. You want to take the... We're going to go with the like quartz pillar just above the smooth quartz block here from the back wall. And you will go forward from it and you will place 3 red terracotta. And then you'll just leave a gap of 1, which I'll place a quartz pillar for a second so I can keep placing. And then you'll place 2 red terracotta. An upward facing quartz pillar, if I could place it right. And then you will go with 7 red terracotta. And then another upward facing quartz pillar. This one will kind of end up floating just above the front wall here, which is fine. We will address what happens with that a little bit later. It's not really important just yet, but yeah. So, you can bring either quartz pillar, I guess, up by 4, so they're the same height as the, like, back right corner there. Just like so. For the right panel, you're filling in the full thing with red terracotta, except for that first row you'll end up placing on top of the original. You will leave that same gap open to create a doorway. I don't even want to worry about the door just yet, because I want to probably place this door once we do the balcony on this side of the little, like, I guess it is a balcony, yeah. On the front segment going right to left, you will place 4 red terracotta, glass pan, and then 2 red terracotta. You will copy that row 2 more times, and then guess what? Place a row of red terracotta on top. It looks a little weird right now, but once we get there later, it will be a little bit better and more finished. So here's a fun thing we can start with on the front wall. Where you have this row of quartz pillars here at the front, this, like, floating one, You want to place a sideways quartz pillar under it that faces left to right, like so. You then will just extend it all the way left with sideways quartz pillars. It should line up in theory. If it doesn't, then check your numbers on everything. But yeah, that's what you should have. And that literally boxes off the front for us, and that makes our life a little bit easier for this next particular area. So, that row of quartz pillar on the back, the one directly in the center, you want to copy it on the front on top of this row. So I'm going to just like, I can pretty much just trace it forward here and plop it right there. And I will even check the Z is the same. So you see, if I move across this pillar, my Z coordinate is changing. And you see if I'm standing on it, it's negative 2927. If I'm standing on this one, it's also negative 2927. Which means I'm correct. And you want it the same height. Which I'm also just going to check with this. See 48, 48, you can literally just fly back and forth, and Anyway, that's a little bit unrelated, but still important. You will place a row of red terracotta off of the original row of quartz pillars again. The sideways row. You want to start from the inside for both of these rows, this row of quartz pillar. We're going to start by going left, which is the left segment. You will place 3 red terracotta, 3 glass pans, and then again, the rest of the row is just red terracotta. No really overthinking that. Going right from it, you'll place 2 red terracotta, glass pan, and then again, the rest of the row will be red terracotta. You'll then copy both those rows 2 more times again, and I think you should know the drill at this point. Wow, this is really going to be a short tutorial. I mean, I think the details are going to become a problem, but like, we're already almost done the structure, and we're 16 minutes into the actual tutorial itself. So anyway, you should have this. I will give you the same advice as before. The right segment has a row of red terracotta on top. The left one, not quite yet. Let's do that little bottom floor segment on either side, and then we'll do the roof layout, and then we'll do the orange, because I want to just get that kind of situated. So we'll start with the left side, because this side is so totally unbelievably complicated. This original row of quartz pillar you placed, which was probably the first one you placed, you want to place 3 rows of red terracotta to the right of it. Okay, now that absolute barn burner of a segment was done, let's go to the right side and focus on this one. So, from the quartz pillar at the base here, you will just place a simple row of red terracotta going all the way left until you're on the corner of brick. The corners will end up being red terracotta because there's a full wall through here. You can add it if you really want, but I'm going to worry about that in the interior because it doesn't matter right now. Going right to left on this row from here, you'll place 2 red terracotta, glass pan, and then 4 red terracotta. Copy that row 2 more times. And then you will, in fact, place a full row of red terracotta on top of this. It will be taller than the quartz pillar, don't really worry about that. If you actually line up with the back, you'll see you're the same height as the like little window back there, and you're also at the same kind of, I guess, line. You're in the same, yeah, sure, line. We'll go with that. They're parallel. Although that doesn't mean anything in this particular instance. That could mean that they're 4 blocks off from each other. Either way, whatever. We're going to ignore that. So, let's do the roof that we're actually kind of just hovering around right now. We can only do so much because of the way that all of this works, but we're going to ignore that anyway and do as much as we can, because we need dark oak to actually do the full thing. You want to take this quartz pillar here at the front, this kind of sideways one below the pillar here, and you'll place a smooth quartz forward diagonally right by 1 from it. Right of that, you'll place a slab. Then you'll go down with an upside down slab. Right from that upside down slab with a block, and then right from that block with a slab. And you kind of want to copy this on the back. It doesn't quite work because of the curvature of the wall. But essentially what I would do is I take this smooth quartz block, kind of pivot point if you will, and you'll place a smooth quartz block just sticking out of it to what will be the left if you're looking at it. Oh, I guess it's the right from the front. Then keeping going in that direction, you'll place a slab. Below that slab, an upside down slab. And then instead of just going straight out with a block, you're going to go in diagonally with a block to follow the shape of the wall and then out with a slab from there, so you have this. It'll make a little bit more sense again later, but it's not really my problem just yet. We will start on this side of the roof, I suppose, and we have the same problem going where we can't really do much because we don't have the dark oak. I mean, we could get out the dark oak, but we'll just fill it in later and worry about it later. On the right side of both the front and back rows of quartz pillars, you'll place an upside-down smooth quartz slab sticking out. You will overhang it off of the right side by 1, and also bring that same original slab, upside-down slab you placed up with a slab. Then, a certain number of times you want to do the same pattern we did down here. You'll go left with a block, left with an upside-down slab, left with a slab, left with a block, left with an upside-down slab, up with a slab. And on the front, you want to keep going until you're one right of this window here. You'll end on a smooth quartz block, and you'll end with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these kind of full block length things, 9 if you're including the half at the end. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll also be able to figure out in a second if we're correct, and you'll see why in a moment. So going left from that block, you'll place 2 slabs on both sides. Bring either slab down with an upside-down slab. And then from those upside-down slabs, you'll go left with 2 blocks. I'm going to stop here for a second. You will continue this pattern if you want to keep going. You don't want to listen to me ramble. You will end up above the quartz pillar by just a block, and you'll be obviously outside of it by a block because that's where we are, but it'll line up perfectly with that end block there. And then anyway, just continuing on, you'll go left with 2 slabs, down with an upside-down slab per slab, left from those upside-down slabs with 2 blocks, and you'll keep doing this until you overhang the left side by just 1 block. And it should be with the slab and upside-down slab, where you'll end up with 2 on the end here. Just like this. That's kind of your roof shape. The very end row of upside-down slabs you can also connect along the side here. Only the upside-down ones, it's just because we have both rows, and I don't want to make them both dark oak. And it kind of acts as the almost gutter that runs underneath it, like so. Before we can do the orange section, these weird triangles are trapezoid. That's a trapezoid, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's a trapezoid. Whatever. The tops of these sections you'll just fill in with red terracotta, making sure you only fill either behind nothing or behind an upside-down slab. You don't want to fill behind the blocks because that's where our roof is going to go, and that just causes problems for later. And you should end up from the front with this. And that is what happened, or that is the Hello Neighbor 2 bakery if you took away the entire entrance and I guess where you pay and where you would eat. Although there is the outside area. Anyway, let's start with the left side of the orange segment. You want to start from the back brick here and just going along you'll place 5 orange concrete and then an outward facing quartz pillar on the corner here. Bring the quartz pillar up by 4. And if you want, you could bring it up by a 5th. I'm not going to, but I'll place a smooth quartz block on top. That's important for later, but just, you know, we'll place it on top of all of this probably. And then on this row of orange, we'll place another row of orange anyway. Going left to right or right to left on top of that doesn't matter. Place orange, 3 panes, orange. On top of that, 2 rows of orange, and then again, you can have your row of smooth quartz blocks. Not really required, but it will just help us later. Going along the bricks here at the front, you're going to follow this kind of diagonal pattern, and you'll place an orange concrete, 3 glass, orange concrete, and then a quartz pillar. You will copy that entire row 2 more times. And then place either 2 rows of orange on top or 2 quartz pillar on the quartz pillar, I guess, is the exception. And then you'll place smooth quartz on top of that again as an option. The 2 rows of orange does look weird, but it'll make more sense later, trust me. So again, still following the shape. We're going to start with the top quartz pillar here, and you're going to want to bring it right with 2 orange concrete, and then it would end up being forward diagonally, right 1, and right 1. You'll take the furthest left and furthest right oranges and just extend them down by 1. From there, you can connect them both down to the quartz pillars with 3 mangrove planks. Where they differentiate between each other is, you want to do the same row, but essentially, from the right one, or the left one here, excuse me, you'll place right of the bottom a mangrove plank, Then you'll go up from that plank with 2 glass and a mangrove plank. From the right one, you'll take the bottom mangrove plank and extend it forward with the plank. Then up with 2 glass and then up with a mangrove plank. You then do want your quartz pillar row just right of this door here, kind of on this brick. It'll be just 5 quartz pillars moving up, and then I'll place my smooth quartz again on top. Nice. You'll then keep going along this diagonal, and you'll just place an orange, 3 glass, orange, quartz pillar on the corner, and then you can actually still keep going along just backwards here with an orange, 4 glass panes, and then an orange. Copy that entire row 2 more times. Might as well just do the entire thing at once, since there's no point in waiting, right? And then on top of the orange and glass, you'll place 2 rows of orange, and on top of the pillar quartz pillar, excuse me, you'll place 2 quartz pillar. And then you can place your smooth quartz if you so choose. It's just easier to understand this next step if we have it. Which is right now, I think. It looks like it's time for the next step. So, to start off, you want to take each smooth quartz block, and you want to just extend it out by a block. Now, when you do this, I don't believe you want the corners brought out. You do not, no. You just want them brought out, basically, by 1 off of each visible side. And once you cover a side, you're not going to keep going. You're going to just turn and say, oh, look, there's another side, and then bring it out again. Essentially, it'll look like this from above. Take each of those outermost smooth quartz slabs smooth quartz blocks and extend them up with a smooth quartz slab. There is one exception to this, which I'm not going to worry about quite. Well, I will worry about, but just do this first. It doesn't matter because we can just use the slabs anyway, but you should have this. At the far right, you want to take the first, essentially, slab that isn't on this row going front to back. It'll be this guy right here, and it'll just turn this slab into a block. It's the one just in front of the quartz pillar row here on the far right. That'll be more important later. We might as well do it because, you know, it's there. It's detailing time, I think. Really, everything else from this point is just a lot of detailing. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Trust me. It never stops. I mean, it does stop eventually. Clear your inventory and get out. Smooth quartz stairs. Resin brick walls. Lanterns. Dark oak slabs. Dark oak planks. Ladders. Barriers, which I'll give you the command for in a second here if you do not know how to grab them. And spruce planks and birch door. Those spruce planks will be short-lived, or yeah, birch. Did I say spruce door? I meant birch door, regardless. So if you need to know how to get barriers, it is /give@s_barrier in the chat. If it is not working, make sure you have allow cheats on, or if you are just having troubles in general and cannot use them, use like spruce planks or something. It is definitely preferred you have an invisible block, but it's not entirely like required. You can always put something else behind them. Or even, what color is the ladder in the game? I want to say it's white. I think it's white. So you could do like pale oak or something. Anyway. Let's start with the roof at the front here. Which is where we just were. Inside of the smooth quartz slabs, with a very, very, I guess, tight leash on this part. Oh, I missed a slab. That's so unfortunate. But you want to place 2 dark oak slabs directly inside of each smooth quartz slab. When I say a tight leash, I mean, essentially, you don't want to add anything else to the corners here. So I have 2 rows there, and then just behind, once I've done that really on both sides, it'll just be 2 slabs behind each front smooth quartz slab, and really nothing else beyond that. It's not very complicated, and it's not very specific. It's just that. The rest of the middle can be filled in with dark oak planks from there. And yeah. I feel like it is probably best to get the big roof filled in. But before we do that, I want to do the ladder because I want to actually get rid of the barriers and get out something else. So, essentially, this becomes weird since we don't have this yet, but really below where we have the top smooth quartz block, it'll end up being just 2 blocks on top of each other. You'll place barriers going down until the bottom quartz pillar. You don't want to go in line with the brick because we'll end up having a spruce floor here like this, but yeah, that does become a little bit weird without that right now. But you want to place ladders either way off the back of each of the barriers, and I guess on the smooth quartz as well. And I would also get rid of your barriers and ladders now, and you can get out. We're actually going to do something weird here, because I'm seeing this, and I just might as well get it out of the way. You want to get out heavy cores and activator rails. And on this roof here that we just placed a ladder leading up to, in front of the little 1x3 window, you'll place a heavy core on the planks. Bring that heavy core right by 1, then forward with 1, and then right with an activator rail. Bring that activator rail forward by 3. If you don't want to use heavy cores, you can use flower pots, by the way. And if you don't want to use activator rails, I guess you could use or powered or detector or regular. It doesn't really matter. This does symbolize a ladder, by the way, but the ladder is red, hence why I went with the activators. You can then get rid of the heavy core and the activator rails and get out. Now, stone and spruce slabs. Well, he does. So that's not for the roof they're about to do. But what you want to do is each of these smooth quartz slabs and blocks on this upper roof, we're going to ignore the lower one for now on the right side, just this upper one, you want to connect together with dark oak. The one exception is the very tippy top guy here. This smooth quartz block, you will connect front to back with stone blocks instead. Like so. And then again, everything else is just dark oak. Yeah, I'm just looking at like a reasonably length tutorial. It is weird being 30 minutes in and being like 80% done the actual bakery itself, because you know how Hellraiser 2 builds are. They're always over an hour somehow. And I really don't think this one will end up being an exception. I always like to... I know probably watching this you're like, yeah, it is. But, you know, I always like to just consider it. Think how long it'll be. Theorize. Maybe I'm entirely wrong, maybe I'm not. Especially with something like this, where it's going to be one part pretty much regardless, unless this somehow ends up being 12 hours. But, yeah, it's not going to be 12 hours, I can tell you that. Unless I place, like, 1 block a second for the next, I guess 1 block every 5 seconds for the rest of the build, then that might become a problem. But I do not appear to be doing that, so I think we're good. Anyway, there's your roof done. It doesn't really look any different from this angle, except I guess if you look through that window there, it looks like you can see a little bit of it. Yeah, you can. So yeah. Let's do one thing before we actually do the right side here. It has to do with the resin brick walls and the lanterns. So I don't really have a better way to explain this, so I'm just going to tell you where each one is specifically and how they work. On the front section, the orange concrete one, they are symmetrical. And so what that means essentially is above the quartz pillars on either side of the doorway, you'll place 2 resin brick walls off of the smooth quartz block above them, moving out. And then a lantern below the end one. The kind of end corners also of this roof, you'll do the same thing with resin brick walls, instead extending out rather than forward. So left on the left, right on the right. And you kind of see where that's placed. And you have the lantern below again. It is all of them on the front wall. On the left wall is where that smooth quartz block is, in this kind of little, I guess, dividend, or the intersection. Oh my god, where did dividend come from? But you can essentially see that all it really is, that's why the smooth quartz are there. It's because these have like a little bit of a, I guess, pop out, at least on the corners. I didn't notice on the other ones, because there is one on the back wall. It's kind of in the middle here. You see where this window is on from this angle, I guess it's the right side. You'll count below it and then to the right by 1, which would be left if you're considering it from the front, but it's right from our angle. You'll place 2 resin brick walls moving out with the lantern. And then just on either smooth quartz block in these intersections again. There is one on the right wall, or is there 2? There's actually 2, okay. So it's the top quartz pillar you can on this back right one. It'll be 2 resin brick walls out with a lantern. The other one is not on the quartz pillar. Instead, it is one in front of this middle one, and it's the same thing. I still don't want to do this roof yet. I'm sorry. I know I'm making you wait so long for the dreaded roof. Let's do the smooth quartz stairs and a little bit more with the dark oak slabs, because I'm going to forget this if I don't do it now. So, in each of the 1x2 windows, you want to place a couple of upside down smooth quartz stairs that face into each other like so. So, at the left side of each hole, it's an upside down stair facing right. At the right side, it is an upside down stair facing left. And you just want to find all the little 2x1 gaps and place this in it. And I think that's all of them. Yep, it is. Nice. Not very particularly difficult, just it is something that we do have to do before I forget. On the left wall, the little 1x3 window here on the bottom floor, it is the one in the red terracotta, not the orange one. You want to place above the top glass pane a dark oak slab. And then you'll essentially go down diagonally out either direction with an upside down dark oak slab like so. Similar thing above the front doorway, which is the mangrove one. You're going to essentially place in front of these orange concrete in the very center here just a couple of upside down dark oak slabs, and then out from them normal dark oak slabs like so. And there you go. Now we can actually focus on the roof here on the right side along with the balcony that would accompany it. So from the smooth quartz block here at the back, you want to bring it forward with 7 spruce planks. And then just a bunch of dark oak planks from there. You'll do the same thing with the smooth quartz slab where you have 7 dark oak planks, except this time it'll be dark oak slabs to the end. And then from that point, you want to essentially bring the dark oak here at the back, these 2 rows, just kind of along the rest of the roof. Well, actually, you'll bring, I guess, these 2 smooth quartz across the entire thing, connecting these smooth quartz together with dark oak, just like so. From the spruce planks themselves here, you'll place 2 spruce slab rows moving out. You will finally place a birch door in this doorway. The floor is spruce plank in here, so you can just bring it back by 1 and place your door. The handle will end up facing right, or just the way that it ends up facing when you place it if you're on bedrock. I do realize Java, you can choose, which I don't know why we don't have that luxury, but I guess, whatever. Anyway, clear your inventory and get out. Podzol, spruce trapdoors, pale oak trapdoors, resin brick walls. Hey, look, they're back. An item frame. Ferns, the short ones specifically. A flowering azalea. And we'll go red wool and white wool. So to start off of this row of spruce slabs here, you'll just place a row of podzol going, I guess, towards you from it. It's technically right from the front, but I'm not using that anymore because it's better to just explain it based on the way I'd be looking. You'll take either end of podzol and extend it up with 3 resin brick walls, and then connect those resin brick walls together across the top. I keep wanting to say slab rather than wall, and I don't know why. In line with where the birch door is underneath this resin brick wall, you'll place an item frame. It is centered, if that is important to you. And then you'll place a flowering azalea on the podzol below it. Off either side of the flowering azalea, you'll leave a gap of 1 and then place a fern. If it ends up being, like, too short, because I know you can get, like, the really, really tiny ones, then I guess you can use something else. But I seem to be fine here, and it doesn't seem like I would have had that anyway. But yeah, I've had that happen a couple of times. Cue a couple tutorials where I know that's happened. And underneath the podzol, you can place spruce trap doors. One of these won't actually be needed, though. It's not the furthest right one, but it's one to the left. If you want to break it now, you can. Just remember you'll have to break it later anyway. But yeah, it's that one. And then off each side of the podzol and spruce slabs, you'll place pale oak trap doors open, whatever way you see needed. I actually was going to place them with the handle facing down, but I like them all facing the same way, and I am annoyed about that, so I will actually replace them all. You can also place them kind of up diagonally out from these spruce planks, just kind of open up in the same way that they would be for the other stuff. Essentially, I don't have a better way to explain it other than, I don't know, look at that. One more thing before we can start doing the red wool, white wool thing, which is important. Below the window here on this wall, you will just place a spruce trap door on the dark oak. You'll extend it either direction with 2 trap doors. And then now we can focus on the red and white wool. So for starters, you want to still be on this left wall, and you want to be on this quartz pillar just at the, I guess, left side. You'll count right by 1, and moving out, you'll place 2 red wool. Then right of that, you'll place 2 white. Right of that, 2 red. Right of that, 2 white. Right of that, 2 red. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. This particular part is really annoying, but it is fine. The top 2 rows of orange on specifically the right side of the orange section. You want to place these kind of L shapes of each wool every other. I'm going to start from the front one here, and I'm going to place, from the top orange, I'll place a red wool, 1 down, and then 1 out. And I'll just copy that to the right with white, then red, then white, then red, then white. For the front 2 windows, you want to do the same thing. The only difference with these is that, you know, the wall is kind of slanted, so you're going to essentially have to just go out from the orange and not particularly think much else of it. So you see I have red on the inside here, then white, red, white, red. And you see it'll just follow the diagonal, and again, it won't really, much more thought than that won't be put into it. So you have this. Just those same L shapes. And that's all for that. We're pretty much there. I mean, like, there's only a couple more small things to do. And you can clear your inventory, and we'll start with a couple of those, which you need to get out. Pale oak fence gates. Andesite blocks. Andesite walls. Oak planks. Oak fence gates. Mangrove slabs, which we'll also use for planks. Acacia stairs? That's weird, actually. I didn't notice that. And we'll go... What will we go with? I don't actually know. There's not really anything else I feel like we should try to grab. Well, actually, because we have the andesite, I'm going to tell you to get out polished deep slate stairs and polished deep slate slabs. So that'll help us start the chimney. Before we focus on the thing here, the, I guess, little bakery symbol, you want to head to the right side, and just underneath each of these dark oak slabs, and I guess the smooth quartz slab as well, you'll place pale oak fence gates just kind of moving along the wall. The back 2, I do not have a fence gate on. There's a trap door off of this quartz pillar here, and this one I just didn't place it because I guess it was cut off. And yeah, that is, I believe, the only spot that is. I will just confirm really quickly. Yeah, it is. Oh, you know what else we need? Okay, get rid of your pale oak fence gates and get out lightning rods. Glad I didn't miss that. And so, off of the front middle here, you will take the top row of smooth quartz slabs in the middle and just place a couple of lightning rods off of it like so. Out from those lightning rods by a block, you want to find the first dark oak slab and replace it on either side with an andesite. There will be a 2-block gap between them, and they will also be offset by each other by a block, which is fine. That will just make this step a little, or this, I guess, part a little bit weird. You'll go up from each andesite block with another block, and then 2 walls. Take the bottom andesite block on either side and extend it forward with an oak plank, and then bring those oak planks in by 1 each. Off the ends of the original oak planks, you'll just place oak fence gates. This is supposed to be a rolling pin. It's not perfect, but I guess you could try using like lightning rods or something, but I feel like those would be too thin. I'm not really sure. Anyway, it's time for something that's actually different. Off of the left andesite wall, you'll place a mangrove slab, the top one. Place an upside down mangrove slab below it, and then you'll end up taking the top mangrove slab and extending it both left and right with a mangrove plank. Off the top right andesite wall, you'll place a mangrove plank with an upside down slab below it. Extend the upside down slab left with a slab, and then you'll extend the plank both left and right with a right side up slab, like so. That would say bakery if the font was fonting, but it kind of doesn't because, yeah, Minecraft. Now, this is where the placeholder fun begins. On top of either andesite wall, you want to place an upside down acacia stair that will face outward, and again, you will need placeholders for this on both sides, just because, yeah. You'll then extend them up with an acacia stair that faces inward, and then up with another acacia stair that faces outward. So you have this kind of shape going on, essentially. With placeholders, again, you will take these top acacia stairs and bring them in with upside down acacia stairs that face, I guess, away from each other like so. That will also be diagonally touching like so. Below those, you'll place right side up acacia stairs that do the same thing. They face away from each other, and it'll essentially create these weird, like, stair shapes within the stairs. I didn't even realize they did that. But then anyway, you'll take the bottom upside down acacia stairs and just bring them in with an acacia stair facing forward, and you should have this. That's your pretzel. Cool. Let's do almost the entire chimney, actually. I did not realize we could do that much of it. But anyway, we can, so let's do it. Head to the stone here at the top and the middle of the roof, and you will head back to the 6th stone, and you will break it and replace it with an andesite. That one isn't actually visible, it's nice to have it there anyway. You will extend this andesite both to the left by 4, just ravaging everything as you go about, and also to the right by 1. Extend either end andesite back by 4, yes. Still breaking anything you need. And then connect that back row together to create this rectangle like so. If you want to hollow it out to kind of envision it better, you totally can, that's fine. And I'll do that, just so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Because the andesite and the stone kind of look the same. You'll end up placing polished deep slate stairs on top of the andesite that'll just kind of all face out and away from each other and, I guess, peer in a little bit, like so. I'll fill in the middle with andesite because this makes it easier to just bring the outer andesites of this particular part up with 3 rows of andesite. So the middle right andesite can be brought up with 2 andesite, then 2 andesite walls, and then a polished deep slate slab. Either side of that bottom andesite, which would be front and or forward and backward, you'll place polished deep slate stairs facing to the right. Left of those stairs, you'll just place andesite around the rest of this to create kind of a, I guess, a C shape. But either way, whatever, it's just around the rest of it. Then on the furthest right row of andesite, you'll place a row of polished deep slate slabs that will connect together at the right side. And then to the left of the middle polished deep slate slab, you'll place 2 andesite moving left. You'll extend either andesite up by 5. Extend the top andesites out on each side with an upside down polished deep slate slab, and then bring those upside down slabs each up with an additional slab. Did I just make a block somewhere? No, I didn't. But either way, whatever, you'll have this. Assuming you don't mess up, like I almost did. Just to the left of the 2 remaining polished deep slate slabs here at the kind of bottom, again, you'll place a polished deep slate stair facing right to the left of them. Then left of that, you'll place an andesite block with a polished deep slate slab on top. And that's pretty much your chimney. Now, we have some signs to place, and I'm going to tell you the funny thing again. So get rid of everything and get out a dark oak sign, and I'm going to just place it on the stone here for a second. And then I'm going to head up to it, and I'm going to go Control and block pick, which for me is just down on the mouse wheel. If you're on PC, you can do this. You cannot do this on consoles, unfortunately. But if I look at it, you notice it'll say Dark Oak sign plus data. So now when I place this sign, it'll just place, and it won't make me type. And now we can go around peacefully putting all of our signs. So we'll just kind of go row by row, and we're going to just kind of talk about it. I guess we'll go each side row by row. So at the front side here on the, I guess, base part, you'll take the second row of andesite up. I guess not the base part, but the, like, this tall part. And you'll place a dark oak sign here on this furthest left one. On the left side, you will, if you're looking at it, you'll take that same second row up and place dark oak signs on the rightmost 2 blocks. You'll then count up to the 4th and place a sign on the left. Directing your attention to the back, still on the 4th row, again at the technically right side now, you'll place a dark oak sign, which will just create a corner with the other one. You are kind of creating these corners, which is where there are just loose bricks and stuff. And then you'll head back down to the 2nd row, and the leftmost 2 andesites will have dark oak signs over them. Directing your attention to the for real left side, you'll take the, I guess, back 2 or right 2 andesite in the middle row and place dark oak signs on them. Now, for the upper parts, this is really easy because you're just wrapping the signs around. On this little right smokestack, you'll place dark oak signs off each side of the andesite that you can, because I know you cannot off the left. And then off the other one, essentially, if you find this andesite behind the polished heap slate slab, you'll count up by 1 and you'll place dark oak signs all the way around this particular row. I'll give you a second. You'll then leave a gap of 1 and do the same thing. And there you go. That's like the main bakery done. Well done. Now it's time for the not so fun part, which is the entire, like, porch thing. I guess not porch. It's kind of like a, what is it? Like a little seating area, little outdoor eating. I don't know. You can clear your inventory for whatever you may have and get out quartz pillars, stripped pale oak wood, pale oak fence, iron trapdoors, diorite walls. Oh, this is such a scuffed way to get everything, but it's fine, surely. Conduits. Here's another one. Skeleton skulls. And we'll go stripped spruce wood. And spruce planks. So if you are in survival or something and are looking at these two and being like, are you for real right now? Just like don't, again, you know? Just, I don't know, find something else. These are for the little points on the spires. You'll see what I mean when we get there. But, like, I don't know. I use them because they look good, but I do realize that there is the potential that somebody's looking at my inventory in survival and being like, just close the video. You want to go left from this brick right here, and you want to place 3 sideways quartz pillars facing left. Left of that, you'll then place an upward facing one. So here's where the fun already begins. You want to go forward from this with 14 sideways facing pillar quartz facing forward. And then an upward facing quartz pillar at the end again. Then these will all be placed sideways facing left to right unless I specify. Otherwise, it's just easier because I already have to tell you diagonally. You then want to go forward diagonally, right 1, right 3, forward diagonally, right 1, right 3, forward diagonally, right 1, and then right by 3. You'll then go forward diagonally, right with a strip spruce, also facing left to right, and extend that right by 13. You'll then go back diagonally right with quartz pillars, still facing the same way. Right 2, whoopsies. Back diagonally right 1, right 2, back diagonally right 1, right 2, back diagonally right 1, right 2, and then you'll go back diagonally right 1 with an upward facing quartz pillar. You'll then bring this back with 7 sideways facing strip spruce that are facing front to back. And then, drumroll please, 19 sideways facing quartz pillars. and then an upward-facing one. If you've done everything right, you can bring this upward-facing quartz pillar left with, what is it, 7 or 8? 7 sideways strip spruce wood facing left to right. Before we even concern ourselves with bringing anything up, you want to just fill in the middle with spruce planks. It's just nice to get this out of the way because we'll have to do it later anyway, and we might as well do it while we have no obstructions. I guess other than the ladder. Hey, look, it's me. That actually scared me for a second. I saw the character, I was like, who is there? And then I was like, oh yeah, it's me. On my other account. I guess it's the same account, it's just on PlayStation. So PlayStation is mad for some reason, it's yelling right now. AKA, it's just revving up for some reason. Which usually means it's trying to update something, but I don't know what it would be trying to update at this hour, even though it's 4 p.m. But still, what would it be updating at this hour? I don't know. Anyway, we're almost there. Actually, no, we're not, because I still have the front. Funny, hilarious. This part is particularly not that hard, because it's really just a lot of the same details replicated. It seems like they took the models and just said, yeah, we're gonna take this model, copy, and then move one object, and that's kind of how the whole thing goes. As far as the tables and chairs are concerned, the fence sucks. You're not gonna like the fence design. I mean, you're gonna like how it looks, but you're not gonna like making it because, oh my god, I didn't like making it. Not that that really means much of anything, but you know, it means at least enough. Okay, anyway, you should end up with this. Nice. Now, let's warm ourselves up with just the left side. We're just gonna focus on the left side here. And particularly this quartz pillar row. Starting from the corner, you want to go back to front and place an upward-facing strip pale oak wood. Every single pale oak wood will be facing upward. I'm just going to say pale oak, probably. Then go forward with 4 pale oak fence, then a wood, then 4 fence, wood, 4 fence, wood. You want to extend each stripped pale oak wood up by 1. And then every single one up with 1 diorite wall, except the back one will be brought up with 2. And this will make more sense in a second here, I swear. You'll then go up with a pale oak fence from each. And on the front 3, you want to place a conduit on the pale oak fence. Make sure it's facing directly, like, straight, and that it's not on a diagonal angle, like this one, for example. Just looks better if they're straight. The back pale oak fence will place a skeleton skull on top of. I have it facing forward. Now, if you want it to face away, then you can have it face backwards. My logic here is that essentially all these skeleton skulls are facing towards the center here or away from the gate that they're involved in. So that's kind of why I went with that. But either way, that's fine. You want to place on top of each pale oak fence an iron trapdoor. Also in line with the pale oak fences between the conduits, you're going to place iron trapdoors at the top half of the blocks. You can just, essentially, what I'm doing right now is I'm placing these as I'm pressing shift and space at the same time, and just kind of flying in the air. It's not particularly pleasant, but it gets the job done. And that's your fence design. That's just a little taste of the absolute horrors that is the fence that we're going to have to make. So let's start, shall we? We'll do the front side now. We'll do side at a time, I guess. From this first pale oak, you'll place a fence to the right. Forward 1. Right 4. Forward with a wood. Then right with 4 fence. Forward 1. Right with a wood. Right with 3 fence. Forward 1. Right 1. Right with a pale wood. And then we could technically place a fence, but we're just going to leave a gap of 7 for now. And on the 8th block, you'll place a wood. And then right of it, it should be 3 pale oak fence, and you'll be on this last strip spruce, just to confirm that your gap space is correct. You'll then go back with a fence. Right 1. Right with a wood. Right with a fence. Back 1. Right 3. Back 1. Right with a wood. Right with 2 fence. Back 1, right 3, back 1, and then right with a wood. This one has more that are brought up a little bit differently, but we're just going to start with the same thing, where you bring each strip pale oak wood from there up by 1. And then it is 1 diorite wall on each, except for 3. The furthest right one is 2 diorite walls, along with the middle front 2. These ones, I think, are pretty obvious. They are where the fence just randomly stops fencing. Like so. And then again, on top of each of them from there, you'll place your pale oak fence, regardless of the height. And then your conduit on the lower ones. It still will be facing straight. I do not like diagonals, even though this whole thing is diagonal, which is kind of ironic. And then the other ones will be skeleton skulls facing really whatever direction you want, just preferring they're still not on a diagonal. Again, I have them all facing inwards. So the front ones are facing back, and the right one is facing left. You should know the drill from here. Iron trap doors on top of all of your pale oak fence. Just like so. This is such a fun and thrilling time. This is my favorite part of the build. Not really. Again, like, it looks good, but that's about all it's got going. And then the same thing where you have it in line with the top row of the pale oak fence row below the conduits, which is also going to be an upside down row. These should follow the iron trapdoors below perfectly, along with the diagonal spacing. Make sure to leave the center here open. There are no trapdoors going between the skeleton skull posts. That applies to all of them, actually. I don't believe any of them connect to anything. I feel like the back... I'm not sure about this side here, but I feel like the other side does connect, actually. I don't know why I started in the middle. I was stupid. Oh my god, I keep listening to... There you go, you should have this. Let me confirm about that back thing. No, okay, they don't. Never mind. There's just another pillar on that side. That's why I'm confused. So anyway, for the right side, you will start on the first quartz pillar, and you will go front to back and place pale oak wood, 4 fence, wood, 4 fence, wood, 4 fence, wood, and then unfortunately it ends with 3 fence and then another wood. It just didn't line up. And then again, you should be accustomed to this one. The only one with the skeleton, actually, the only one with the skeleton skull on this side is the front one, yeah. So all of them are the same, except this one is 2 diorite walls with the skeleton skull. Oh, wait, no, I forgot the fence. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. There is a gate at the back right, but it's a little bit more in than where that would be positioned with that pillar, specifically. And then don't forget your iron trap doors at the top and bottom. The top ones, again, do not go through the gap here because the gap is special. It's because of the gates again. None of the gates have it. Oh god. Minecraft Bedrock is so peculiar. I don't understand it sometimes. I've played it so much and I still don't quite understand its quirks. Anywho. We have one more thing to do, and then we have gates to make. A lot of gates. So, at the back side here, on the left, you want to go from this first pale oak wood and go left with a fence, wood, gap of 3, wood, fence. And then, again, this time it's the taller one, so it's a pale oak wood on top of each. Then 2 diorite walls, a fence, and then you can only place the skeleton skull on the right one. The left one kind of goes into that spruce trap door that I mentioned you break earlier. But you do want all the iron trap doors, which is literally 4. It's just on top of the pale oak fence and off of, I guess, the top diorite wall on those inner pillars to make it easier to understand. We'll start with the gate on this side, and then we'll do the gate on the back left, and then we'll do the front 2 kind of at the same... I guess they won't be at the same time, but I'll briefly go over it the second time, I guess, instead. Well, maybe I'll do that with both. I don't know. Anyway, from this gap here, you want to place, if you're looking towards the, well, sun in my perspective, but towards the back of the build here, you want to place at the right side moving up 4 pale oak fence. You'll bring that row of 4 back a row, and then back another row, but this row will be brought an additional 1 up, so it's a row of 5. Behind that, the middle of the row of 5 will be brought back with a diorite wall, and then you'll have pale oak fence on either side with a skeleton skull on top of that top pale oak fence, like so. The opposite side is the same thing I should say, but on the opposite side of that again, what? It's from the pillar here on the left. You're going to place your row of 4 pale oak fence moving up. Bring it back with, I'm going to go 2 rows this time, and then just bring the back row up an additional 1. Center fence of that row of 5, brought back with a diorite wall. Fences above and below, and then a skeleton skull on top of that, and pale oak fence that faces, again, whatever way you want. The other fences are also the same thing, funnily enough, but these work a little bit differently because of the fact they're kind of placed differently. Well, not really. It's hard to explain. There's just 2 of them, I guess. So from the left and right side here, I guess at the front, we're going to take the pale oak wood on either side and place a pale oak fence inside of it with 3 on top. Again, I will bring it forward 2 rows on either side with that front row extending up an additional 1. The middle pale oak fence, will be brought forward with a diorite wall with 2 pale oak fence both above and below it. I almost said below and above it. Wow. Crazy. Then you'll place a skeleton skull on the front pale oak fence from there. I'm not sure why they both have points like this, but, you know, I'm not really going to ask any questions. Nothing makes sense. And then the right side is the same thing, just, I guess, with a different gap. I mean, I'll just even do it from the bottom. I'll place 4 pale oak fence out, then 4 again. Then 3 and a wall. 3 and a wall, and then I'll place, is it a full row? And then the front 2. And then the skeleton skull on top. I think I did that right. It looks right, so yeah. There you go. And that's pretty much where your grid lines mostly come from. It's from those. There's a little bit more to do with the front before we direct our attention to the seating. So if you head down here, the pillar here, only on the front one specifically, the pillars either side of the fence, or the gates, I guess, you'll place a pale oak fence below, I guess off the strip spruce. On top of it, an iron trapdoor. The pale oak fences will be connected together with spruce slabs, which you can just get rid of something and get out really quickly and place. Nice. Now you can clear your inventory. So, for this next step, I want to get out one thing actually really quickly. It's stone stairs, and let's just place these first because we might as well. Head to the right side, and off of the, I guess, front right-hand corner of this quartz pillar row, you'll place a stone stair right of it facing to the right. Extend it back by 2, leave a gap of 1, and then place 2 stone stairs. That's all we need those for. We're going to get out things for markings here. And it won't be many, but it will be enough at least to fill our inventory. You want to start by getting out red nether brick wall, spruce stairs, smooth quartz slabs, skeleton skulls, wither skeleton skulls, regular old candle, soul lantern, and I think we'll just leave it there because we need 3 materials, of course, for the last part. So we'll just, you know, get those 3 at the same time. Let's start from the same quartz pillar, corner we just used here where the stone stairs were placed. You want to count to the 6th spruce plank in front. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Then count left by 1 and you'll place a red nether brick wall. Left of that wall, you'll place an upside down smooth quartz slab. And left of that, you'll place a skeleton skull facing to the right, but it is slightly tilted forward, like so. Off both the front and back of that upside down smooth quartz slab, you'll place a spruce stair facing into it on either side. While we're thinking about it, you might as well place a soul lantern on top of the upside down slab. We then want to use the pillar just to the right of the front gate here. It's this particular pillar, and you want to count to the 4th spruce plank behind it. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Then count left by 1 and place a spruce stair facing back. Behind it, you will need a placeholder. Probably you'll place an upside down smooth quartz slab with a soul lantern on top, just because we might as well again. Behind the upside down slab, you'll place a skeleton skull facing directly forward. Right of that skeleton skull, you'll place a red nether brick wall. And then right of that, you'll place a wither skeleton skull facing to the right. Again, with a placeholder right of that, you'll place an upside down smooth quartz slab with a candle on top. The candle is not lit or anything, it's just there. Then off of both the front and right of that upside down slab, you'll place spruce stairs facing into it again. We almost have symmetry, but we don't quite. We're going to use this time the quartz pillar to the left of the doorway here. It's this one. And you want to count out to the third spruce plank in front. 1, 2, 3. Count left by 2 and place a wither skeleton skull on this block facing left. Then again, with a placeholder left of that, you'll place an upside down smooth quartz slab, which will have a soul lantern on it. In front of that upside down slab, you'll place a spruce stair facing into it. Left of that, you'll place a wither skeleton skull facing backward. And then we're going to go back diagonally left from that with a red nether brick wall. And then back diagonally right from that wall with a skeleton skull facing forward, but again slightly tilted left towards the red nether brick wall. I'm actually going to make it, I think, 45. Do I have a 45? No, I don't. I have it, like, the middle there. From that skeleton skull, you will count left by 2 and back by 1 and place a skeleton skull just facing left. Left of it, you'll place an upside down smooth quartz slab again with a placeholder. No, my floor. And then or I guess on top of that first, you'll place your candle. And then behind that slab, you'll place a spruce stair facing into it. Also from the upside down slab, you'll count forward diagonally left by 1 and place a spruce stair facing right. There's all your tables. We really have one step to go and we should be done in theory, although I will have to confirm that because for some reason I always feel like I'm missing something. You want to start by getting out pale oak fence, smooth quartz slabs, and mangrove slabs. And you'll take each red nether brick wall and you'll do the same thing. You'll extend it up with 2 pale oak fence, and then up with a mangrove slab. There should be 3 if I'm correct. Which it would appear that I am, yeah. Off of each really side of the top pale oak fence, you'll place an upside down smooth quartz slab just moving out. This design should be familiar again. What did I just make that had an umbrella design? Oh, never mind, it was Gravity Falls. The Mystery Shack. But yeah, it should look fairly familiar if you've seen my Security Breach Let's Play. Just a little bit smaller scale. And then on each of the corners there, you'll place an upside down mangrove slab to just square it off and create your pattern. And, yeah, once you've done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is your Hello Neighbor 2 bakery exterior complete. I'm shocked I completed that in one singular sitting. Thank you guys for what if you guys did enjoy this video. The interior should be fairly soon. Bear with me as I have so many freaking things I'm trying to record, and, you know, sometimes I lose track. But anyway, with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your day. Or night, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.